Hello, my dear pupils in grade 5. I will be your teacher for science for this school year 2021 to 2022. Once again, I'm Sir Gerald L. Tabasa, or you can call me Teacher Jen. Most of you, I guess all of you, are my previous pupils in science, di ba? When you were in grade 4. But this time, I will be using this video so that at least you can see me while I'm discussing the lesson in science. Thank you also to your parents who assist me and also as my partner in delivering this new normal in education. So, dear parents, thank you. Are you ready? So, please prepare your learning activity sheet, your paper, or even your notebook in science. Don't forget your ball pen. Alright, for the topic for week 1, for this quarter 1, the objective is to identify the physical and chemical characteristics of materials. Second, to tell the characteristics of useful and harmful materials. Third, classify the materials whether they are useful or harmful. So, meaning to say, my dear pupils, at the end of this discussion, or even i-extend natin kasi nasa bahay lang naman kayo, within this week, you should be able to understand these different targets or the objective. You should have attained it. Kung sa school, sa loob lang ng 50 minutes. But since nasa bahay lang naman kayo, then you can extend that. But make sure that you will learn and you can master this lesson. Let us read this discussion. So, you are using different products for cleaning, cooking, eating, and repairing, right? The usefulness of a certain material depends on its properties. So sa bahay nyo, may iba't iba kayong ginagamit ng mga bagay-bagay, mga materials. Materials are the substances that are used to manufacture products. So meaning to say, before the product will be able to available to the consumer or sa atin, sa mga gagamit, ang mga manufacturers, gumagamit muna sila ng mga materials para buuin yung mga products na yon. For example, yung toothpaste. So, bago maging toothpaste yan, binubuo muna, gumagamit muna sila ng iba't ibang mga materials. So, products are the things that we use in our daily lives. That is correct. Materials have uses according to their specific properties or characteristics. They can be harmful if not properly used and handled. There are some materials which are harmful if you will not use it properly. Listen. Those materials may bring harm to our health, environment, and other organisms when not used properly. Example of this is yung mga pesticide. On our part, it is useful because it is used to kill the pest, right? Ang mga farmers, gumagamit sila ng mga pesticide to kill rats. But if this pesticide will not be used properly, it can harm the people. If the farmer will not use proper materials and make sure that he is protected, then the chemicals within that product of pesticide can harm him. So that is the importance of handling the materials properly. My dear pupils, there are 3 main groups of materials, namely metals, polymers, and ceramics. The term polymer is often used to describe plastics which are synthetic or man-made. However, natural polymers also exist, like rubber and wood. These are natural polymers. Ceramic comes from the Greek word meaning pottery. The clay-based domestic wares, art objects, and building products are familiar to us all. But pottery is just one part of the ceramic world. Nowadays, the term ceramic has a more expansive meaning and includes materials like glass, advanced ceramics, and some cement systems as well. So, before yung ceramics, ginagamit lang siya sa mga pottery. So, ngayon, dahil sa pagiging modern na natin, yung ceramics also referred to glass materials and even cement system. The properties of matter can be classified as physical properties and chemical properties. Okay, so what do we mean by physical property? Physical property is a characteristic of a material that can readily be observed without changing its composition. Example of these are hardness. When you say hardness, the ability to be rigid and resist pressure. It means to say matibay, matatag. So kapag yung material, yung solid material is nagpapakita ng katibayan, then ang physical property niya ay hardness. Next, physical property of a solid material, brittleness. The ability to break easily. Mabilis mabasag. So, ayan. So, alam niyo kung anong mga materials na mabilis mabasag. Yung mga glass materials. Next, flexibility. It means to say, the ability of a material to be bent without breaking. So, yun. So, mga materials naman na kahit i-bend mo, hindi siya nababali. Okay? So, example niyan is yung copper wire, di ba? Kapag binend mo yun, so, hindi naman siya nababali kapag ikaw lang yung mag-bend. Next, physical characteristic or property, porosity. It means to say, the ability of a material to absorb liquid. So, when you were in grade 4, that was your first topic in grade 4 science. So, again, today, when you say porosity, as a review, the ability of a material to absorb liquid. Then, elasticity, the ability to return to original shape or size after being stretched, pressed, or squeezed together. So, when you say, kahit baguhin mo yung shape niya or size niya, i-stretch mo, babalik pa rin siya sa dati. Example is, rubber band. Next is, conductivity. What does it mean? The ability to let heat and electricity to pass through. So, if the material allows heat and electricity, then ang kanyang physical property is conductivity. Example is yung mga electric wire, di ba? Yung metal, kapag dumaan yung init or kapag naidikit mo siya sa mainit na bagay, na itatransfer niya yung heat from that end to the other end. So, because it allows the heat to pass through. Lalo na yung electricity. So, because of that property of material, nakakadaan yung mga electricity at nakakapunta sa ating mga electrical appliances. So, napakahalaga din itong physical property na conductivity ng mga solid materials. Next is malleability. The ability to be flattened into thin sheets by hammering. So, ito naman yung kakayahan ng mga solid materials na kapag hinammer siya, kaya or pwede itong ma-flat. Then, those are the physical properties of materials. Let's move on to the chemical property. What does it mean? When you say chemical property, this is the property of material wherein the composition of a material has to change first before a certain property can be observed or it may be chemically react with another material. So, it means to say, para mangyari yung chemical property, magkakaroon muna ng change in its composition. So, medyo iba na ito sa physical property. Example ng mga chemical properties ay combustibility. It means to say, the ability of a material to burn. So, ang kakayahan ng bagay na masunog. So, mahalaga din dito, diba? Kasi kapag tayo ay kailangang may sunugin or i-burn, kailangan natin ng isang material. So, kapag ang material ay mabilis masunog, then it is said to be has the chemical property of combustibility. Next is flammability. The ability of a material to ignite or catch fire easily. Ang combustibility and flammability is may pagkakaparehas ng konti. Dahil mabilis silang or may kakayahan sila na masunog. But ang flammability ay mas mabilis na makakapag-ignite or makakapag-catch ng fire. So ano ang ibig sabihin nun? Mabilis siyang masunog. Konting heat lang na madikit dito, pwede itong magliyab. Example nito is yung mga gasoline, kerosene. If you are observing, di ba, yung mga gasoline station, yung kanilang mga truck na nag-deliver ng gasoline, may nakasulat, di ba, sa kanilang truck, malaki, flammable. Ibig sabihin, yung daladala nilang material ay mabilis magliyab. Kaya nga may nakalagay, keep distance yung sa mga sasakyan ito. At wag na wag magsusunog malapit sa truck nila. So, yun ang chemical property which is flammability. Then, biodegradability. It means to say, the ability of a material to decompose or rot. So, ang kakayahan ng bagay na mabulok. So, kapag nangyari ito ay chemical property ng material. So, here are the characteristics of major classes of materials. For metals, ito yung kanyang characteristic. Metals are hard. Again, pag sinabi pala natin na characteristics, katangian. Okay, palagi ko yung sinasabi, even sa face-to-face. What are the characteristics or katangian ng metals? Una, hard but malleable. Matigas but then can be flattened. Shiny. Ayan. Makikinang ang mga bakal. Napapakinang. Next, with little color. Intermediate. Conduct electricity. High density. Mabigat. And difficult to burn. So, mahirap sunugin yung mga bakal. So, kaya nga, it is so hard to decompose. At hindi rin siya mas susunog agad-agad. Kahit nasunog na ang buong bahay, ang mga bakal nito andun pa rin. Next, polymers. Characteristic of polymers, stiff or flexible. Dull. Okay, medyo malamlam. Colorless. Low melting. Non-conductive. Low density. And flammable. Ayan. Next, ceramics. So, ito na yung mga materials which are made up of glass and yung mga ginagamit sa paggawa ng pots. Okay, yung mga cement. Ano yung mga characteristics nila? Hard but brittle. So, matigas siya but then mabilis mabasag. Gaya di ba ng mga pots ni mama, ni papa, or si mama kasi siya yung mahilig sa mga plants. Kapag nakalagay sa itaas as mahulog mo, kahit potted cement yun, nababasag. Shiny if glazed. Ayun, napapakakinang naman siya. With many colors. So, iba-iba. Highest melting point. So, mabilis melt. Non-conductive. Ayan, hindi nagka-conduct. Nag-allow ng electricity and heat to pass through. Intermediate density. So, iba-iba ng bigat. Not flammable. So, yung glass at saka yung cement materials, di ba? Hindi naman siya agad-agad or mabilis magliyab. So, those are the characteristics of materials. Their physical and their chemical properties. So, I hope those physical characteristics of materials and chemical characteristics of materials can be used for you to determine if they are useful or harmful. So, those chemical properties can be harmful, gaya ng mga flammability, okay, na dapat mag-ingat tayo. But of course, we are using also those characteristic niya. So, it just depends on how we handle this material. So, please take note of that. Handle it properly. Lalo na yung mga may chemical properties. Ano-ano yun? Flammability, combustibility, and yung biodegradability. Yung biodegradability, medyo okay lang yun kasi yung kakayahan lang naman yun ng materials to decompose or rot. So, I hope you learned something from our discussion for today. If you learned something, and let us test or check that learning. Don't worry, this is just a practice exercise. So, using your learning activity sheet, for letter A, practice exercise letter A, identify the properties being shown by the materials by checking the correct box below each item. So, i-check nyo lang, pipiliin nyo lang dito. So, for number 1, the picture dyan is yung rubber band. Okay, hinihila nila, di ba? Hini-stretch. So, what is the property? If it is ductility, i-check nyo yung ductility. Kapag flexibility, sa flexibility kayo mag-check sa box. If elasticity, sa elasticity kayo mag-check. Number 2. Okay, so yan naman. Yung that is, sa mga may hawak ng glass, that is cloth. Ayan, cloth yan. Which is being squeezed. Okay? Yung damit. Anong characteristic ng damit? Porosity, ductility, or hardness. For number 3, ayan, yung fire sa kahoy. Okay? What is the property of that? Combustibility, flammability, or biodegradability. Just check your choice. Then for number 4, yan, broken bottle. So it is, ano ba yung characteristic niya? Malleability, conductivity, or brittleness. Mag-check lang kayo. Okay? Just answer it. Alright, let us now have letter B. So, for letter B, you're going to have a tour in your house. So, sa bahay lang muna kayo, sa loob ng bahay nyo, or sa paligid ng bahay. Based from the direction, hop from one place to another in your home and list down some materials found in each area. Study each material and identify if it is useful or harmful by a checklist. You may make a table like the one below where an example is already given. After filling up the table, answer the questions below the table. So, meron na dito ng example. Pag may nahanap kayong material sa bahay nyo, or sa bahay, sa loob, or sa paligid ng bahay nyo, isusulat nyo yung product. So, dito may example sa area, living room. Ang nakita niya na product doon is flower vase. Ano yung type ng material na yon? Okay, ceramics. Ano yung physical or chemical properties na meron siya? So, nilagay niya dito, hard but brittle, and then colorful. So, you may refer in your learning activity sheets. Nakalagay naman dyan yung mga sample ng mga physical properties and chemical properties ng materials so that hindi kayo mahirapan sa pag-accomplish ng table. O, dito may nakalagay na sa bedroom. Ano yung mga makikita yung material sa bedroom? Ilagay nyo dyan sa table. Then, next, dito, comfort room. Ayan. Sa comfort room, sa may CR nyo, yung mga nandun. Or bathroom. Then, kitchen. Garage or storage room kung meron kayo. Kung wala kayong storage room sa bahay nyo, kahit wag na itong lagyan. Okay. After doing it, okay, you may now answer this question. Why are these materials that you have listed found only at a certain area at home? So, why is that yung mga materials that nakita nyo is dun nyo lang talaga nakita sa particular area na yon? Okay, so, try to analyze. Bakit kaya dun mo lang siya nakita? For example, sa bathroom, nakita nyo doon is muriatic acid. Bakit kaya nandun lang siya? Doon lang siya nakalagay. Or, for example, sa kitchen nyo. Bakit sa kitchen na nakalagay lang doon is yung mga cooking materials ni mama nyo, ni papa nyo. Try to think, bakit doon nakalagay yung mga particular materials na yun? Doon lang siya makikita. Yung muriatic acid, hindi mo siya makikita sa bedroom. Doon lang talaga siya sa comfort room. Okay, so just try to answer it. One sentence is enough. Okay na yon. Letter B. Why should we not mix or put these materials in one place only? So, after answering the reason why dun mo lang nakikita yung particular material na yon sa area, sa letter B naman ang tanong, why is that you should not or we should not mix, hindi natin pagkasama-samahin itong mga materials na ito sa isang place lang. Bakit kaya? Why? So, bakit yung gasoline hindi pwede isama doon sa mga food na nakatago sa kitchen? O yan, try to analyze. Bakit kaya? Okay, I think you already have the answer. You can also ask your parent if you want an additional advice or answer. So, but I am already giving you a tip why yung gasoline or kerosene, yung gas, bakit hindi sinasama doon sa kitchen na ilagay kasama ng mga pagkain ninyo. For example, yung biscuits, yung mga kinakain na snacks, bakit hindi sinasama doon yung mga gasoline? So, try to answer it. One sentence also is enough. Okay, letter C. Let us move on to practice exercise letter C. Using the listed materials in the first table, so dun sa tables na nauna, dito sa inyong table na ginawa, so sa letter practice exercise B yan, yung mga sinulat yung mga materials. Identify the uses and possible harm to health, environment, and other organism if not properly used. So, dito sa letter C, gagawin nyo dito, yung mga products na inilagay nyo dito sa letter B, kasi di ba naghanap kayo ng mga materials or products na makikita sa bahay nyo, pwede nyo ilagay na rin yan dito sa exercise C. Ang gagawin nyo lang, after writing the product, for example, muriatic acid, ilalagay nyo sa second column, ano yung use. Okay, sa second column, isulat nyo, ano yung use. Okay, yung use ng muriatic acid. So, just write it. 2 to 3 words. Pwede na yon as long as maisulat nyo kung ano yung use niya. And sa third column, ano yung possible harm to health. Kung hindi sa health nyo, sa environment or sa other organism, if you will not properly use muriatic acid. So, kung kapag hindi nyo ginamit ng mabuti yung muriatic acid, ano yung mangyayari or possible na mangyari? Yan yung isulat nyo dito sa column na to. Okay? So, just write here the products, at least 5. Okay na yan. As long as mailagay nyo yung uses at saka yung possible harm. Okay? You can also ask assistance from your sister or your parents. Or even to me. You can chat me if you have questions. Okay, so I hope you can now easily determine the uses, the usefulness, and the harmful effects of the materials that we are using in our house. Are you now ready for the evaluation? Don't worry. Again, this is just additional checking if you really learn from our discussion today. So, please prepare your learning activity sheets and answer as I read the question. So, you are going to write your answer before the number. Number 1, when is a material considered useful? Okay, kailan daw nagiging useful yung isang material? Letter A, when it harms us. B, when it serves its purpose. C, when it destroys other material. Or D, when that material is a waste. So, kailan nagiging useful yung material na yon? So, pipili kayo dito. A, B, or C, or D. Okay, write it on the blank. Number 2, What property of the materials below make it harmful when placed near fire? So, meron ditong picture, yung gasoline saka yung paint. Anong property daw ng mga materials na to ang magiging dahilan para maging harmful ito if you place it near fire? Wow! So, ano yung magiging panganib nito? So, dapat alam nito mga bata. Is it A? Anong chemical property nito? Is it A? Flammability? Okay. Is it B? Combustibility? Or C? Conductivity? Or D? Biodegradability. Ayan. So, pili kayo dito ng chemical property nitong gasoline at saka paint para mabilis siya na, or para makonsider siya na magiging harmful. So, sabi kasi dito, placed near fire. So, kapag hindi natin inandal ng maayos itong materials na to, ano yung katangian niya na magiging harmful siya sa atin? Number 3. Granite is a type of rock used in manufacturing tiles. So, yung mga tiles, yung mga ginagamit sa bahay, di ba? Okay. So, what property of granite makes it ideal in building floors of homes and other building structures? So, ito yung mga tiles sa bahay na ginagamit. So, alam nyo ba na sa tiles, sa paggawa niyan, ang ginagamit na klase ng rock is granite. Okay? So, anong characteristic ng granite ang mayroon? Okay, what physical characteristic ang mayroon ng granite? Is it A, flexibility, B, hardness, C, porosity, or D, malleability? So, pili kayo dyan ng characteristic ng granite. Okay? Write your letter or the correct letter on the blank. Number 4. Which is true about broken drinking glass? So, ano dito yung tama sa pag-inom ng basag na baso? Okay? Ano dito yung tama? Which is true about broken drinking glass? Okay. A, broken drinking glass are still useful. You just need to fix it with super glue. Is it correct? Is still useful pa daw? Dikitan mo lang ng super glue. B, broken drinking glass are harmful. So it should be thrown right away in the trash. Okay, tapo na daw. C, it is useful because it can still be recycled or reused. Can we still reuse a broken glass? D, it is harmful, so it should be disposed properly. So, alin doon yung true about broken drinking glass? Number 5. Used batteries, rusty nails, broken mirrors, and spoiled food, yung mga panis na pagkain, are example of what? So, example daw ng ano yung mga binanggit? A, useful materials. B, harmful materials. C, harmful and useful materials. D, reusable materials. So, ano yung mas nakikita nyo nakatangian itong mga materials na binanggit? Yung used batteries, gamit ng battery. Rusty materials, kinakalawang ng mga pako. Broken mirrors, basag-basag na yan ng mga mirrors. And spoiled food. Is it useful? Kung useful pa siya, A. Kung harmful na siya, B. Kung letter C, harmful and useful. Or D, reusable. Write it on the blank. Okay, so please write your answers. Alright? So, after answering, I will now reveal the correct answer. My dear pupils, if you are wrong, don't worry. Just make sure that you learn from your mistake. And for the next activity or exam, especially your summative test, then you can apply your learnings. So just check whether your answer is correct or not. Alright, congratulations my dear pupils. Once again, you finished your learning activity sheet week 1 for your quarter 1, week 1 in Science 5. Congratulations! God bless!